Back again. This is reading 51, I believe, if I wrote that down right. So we are back at this. It's the same letter, 11th letter continued, Thursday, 26th of March. What's today? 26th of March. So on this day, 12 years ago, well, you might be watching this another day, but as I film, that's what it is. And it's Friday. So I'll continue. A good day today. I was informed that I'm going to Warwick to work for the next 10 days from Monday. As for the letter from KCM, okay, Kenneth Copeland Ministries had sent me a letter with the Bible, and they'd said, it looked like it said I was a prison chaplain, but I wasn't. So, and I got in trouble for it, for misrepresenting myself. I realised they had written care, chaplain. And in other words, it was for the chaplain to pass on to me. So in Australia, we would say care of chaplain. Now, they have an office here, but they probably have standard forms and, you know, that come from the States. So it was to be passed on to me. I was able to show that to the fellow who challenged me. I would have noticed it sooner if I hadn't been flustered. And, you know, this is just one of the things in leadership that when you are challenging someone, hey, Meryl, good to see you. Glad you're saying hi. Welcome to the broadcast. Yeah. So one of the things when you're a leader and you think you want to correct someone and you are doing your hoity-toity, we agreed to such and such, did we not? You're actually being intimidating and you're putting the person at a disadvantage, which may make you feel powerful, but you're not doing your job right. Because if you're putting that person at a disadvantage where they cannot think clearly to explain themselves, you're not being a leader. You're being a bully. So pull your head in if you behave like that. Okay. Is that okay, Meryl? Wasn't too harsh. I nearly said another word, but I don't talk like that. Not very often anyway. All right, so he acknowledged that the letter said that, but not the hard time he'd given me. Oh, my goodness. Imagine apologising to a subordinate. Can't have that. I didn't write that in. I just said that. So in italics, okay, so I wrote some stuff. When it's in, where is it? Can you see? Can you see how that's, anyway, when it's in italics, it means I wrote it after I came home. When I was putting it together, I slotted this in. I was mad that the supervisor had made a mistake and scolded me for it. Prisoners are not entitled to the benefit of the doubt. It's always assumed that we're in the wrong. Just being real, yeah, my little outburst. I am being real. Thank you, Meryl. Okay, so it's always assumed that we are in the wrong, and I've never lived with perpetual disapproval before. I haven't. I had loving parents. All my parents, I have a natural father and I have a stepdad, but I grew up with my mum and my stepdad is my dad. So I've had great parents. I don't even refer to him as my stepdad unless it's to distinguish him from the other one. And I've always been a good student and had the approval of teachers, or at least most of the time, apart from a time when I had a nutty one. That's another story. It's really quite demoralising to live in perpetual disapproval. I challenge you to think about people in your life. Maybe it's one of your children, maybe it's one of your staff, and whenever you think of them, you think in terms of disapproval. You need to think again because every day is fresh. Every incident is fresh. I was doing some leadership training over in Fiji a couple of years ago, and one of the leaders made the comment that she had that revelation that we were doing a case study, and she said, I just expect him to mess up again, and so that's how I've been thinking of him, and I'm not going to think that way anymore. I've got to think in terms of a fresh start and training and support and encouragement. Well, that was a win, and that was good leadership for her to see that and then shift the way she was going to see that person moving forward. She's probably one of my friends on Facebook here. You probably know who you are. Anyway, it's very good. Because that's what happens. I give a talk and then people want to be my friend. And I'm a friendly gal. All right. But if you're going to, if you find me on Facebook and social media, please like my pages and share and do all that sort of thing, because apparently that's what you're supposed to be doing when you're trying to get your message out there. So if you can like the stuff and share it, and I've got couple of Facebook pages. One's the author ministry page and the other one is the Trish TV page, which is the business stuff that's not so much to do with ministry. That'd be really great. Or if you're watching it on YouTube, that'd be terrific. And anywhere else that you come across, even if it's the audio, good. Okay. In any organisation, there can be leaders or supervisors who do not know how to accept being wrong. Instead, they feel the need to save face and twist things around, so it's still somehow your fault, even when it's theirs. It's a real attitude test, one that I failed this time. Of course, God was good enough to provide many such misunderstandings for me to practice on during the time I spent at that place. So, moving on. Today I whippersnipped, mowed and used the leaf blower. Now, whippersnipping, in America, you call it something else, I think, but it's a string on the end of it's got a motor, a pole, and a string that spins around and cuts edges as you go. We call it a whippersnipper. Some people call it other things. Mowing, leaf blowing, I discovered very quickly that it's best to blow in the same direction as the wind. The wind whistles through the tombstones and creates a wind tunnel. So it's just incredible. At first, I couldn't start the blower. It turned out a hose had disconnected, and as I carried it back to the shed, I was bathed in petrol. Had to stay away from the smokers. I also managed to expose the steel cap in my boot when I adjusted the height of the lawnmower. My boots are a bit big. Yeah, my boots were too big for me, and my toe slipped under the side, and you guessed it, the blade sliced the toe of my boot, and that's why we have workplace health and safety procedures. So turn it off before adjusting it, Trish. You already knew that, didn't you? Turn it off before you adjust the height of the mower. Fun and games. We had 2 funerals close together this week. As the first party left, we raced over to disassemble the framework around the grave with its lovely curtains and ran it over to the next hole. It was an odd feeling, lifting the coffin with pulleys in order to slide the ribbon-like ropes out. So the ribbons go under the coffin. The coffin is lowered on pulleys, it lowers down into the hole. But, of course, we had to lift it up a little bit. Like we had to be able to slide the ribbons out. Strong ribbons, because they were supporting the coffin. We had to slide them out to bring it up and then race the framework over to another hole. So it's kind of weird because you don't think about that stuff when you're at a funeral and wishing your loved one goodbye. One girl's hat blew off and it passed over the grave, the hole where the coffin was already in there. So it's lucky we didn't have to climb down inside to retrieve it. Anyway, stay tuned for the next episodes of Perils of Patricia. You like that? Perils of Patricia? If you would like to visit me, just contact Justin. Well, I'm not there anymore, so don't. But you can download a form from the internet. It could take up to 8 weeks for the form to be processed. I finally got to see Justin and our girls over the weekend, which was really special. I'm glad the girls can visit me here in a nice garden with me in normal clothes. The twins think I'm helping some ladies. Love to all, Trish. And then I just wrote, afterwards I wrote, eventually the twins asked me directly if I was in jail. They had overheard things, as children often do. And I said, look, well, yes, but it's time out for grown-ups. Just like children having time out when they do the wrong thing. Yeah, so that's what prison is. It's time out for grown-ups. All right. See you next time. Next one, I didn't write the next one till April. That's another 2 weeks. Okay. Oh, that one's going to be a bit deep. It starts off, sometimes I wonder if I can stay positive for another 6 months. Okay, so, yeah, it got really hard in there in that particular place. All right. But it's not hard now because I'm free. I'm here, I'm free. But you know what? The strongest prison bars are in your head. That's what I learned. So it's important to get free up here as well, and I can help with that. All right, bless you heaps, and I'll see you next time.